guys, it's Unders. Today we are having a look at the new plugin from Softube named Tape. As you may have guessed by the visual representation in front of you and the name, it is a tape emulation plugin, something we have many of nowadays. However, Softube are renowned for doing things very well, so we're taking a look at that. What this actually does, it emulates 3 different types of tape machine rather than just give you one solid option there. So if we have a look at the 3 buttons we have here, A, B and C, it says type. Now A is a Swiss reel-to-reel, known for being very linear in its sound, just adding the glue to the track, which is what a lot of people are looking for when they apply tape or wish to run through tape or wish to go back to that tape sound of back in yesteryear. Now B, as you can see, the reel-to-reel representation changes here, is more of a tube-based, transistor-based tape reel-to-reel. I don't know which one, they don't specify which one, but potentially something like this guy here. And C is a British reel-to-reel. Now the only really famous British reel-to-reel that I know of is the EMI's reel-to-reel, which is this great big hunk of a unit here. And it's something that Waves have also emulated in the terms of the J37. We are going to do a comparison between the two in another video. Now, very nicely here, they've introduced a mount, and the mount obviously represents how hard the tape pushes the signal into the tape plugin. And it says here, warning, higher mounts can lead to desired distortion, which is a nice little touch there. You can swap the meter type between level and THD. Personally, just going to sit on level. That's how I would normally work. And then we've also got the tape speed, so 15 IPS, 7.5, 3 3/4, and I believe 1 1/4, which is insanely slow. We're going to have a listen to the differences there. And that appears to be it for the GUI. However, if we click on this little bar here, we get some more in-depth options. So we've got the master level, so we can do an input and an output as well, something that's pretty essential to have on tape plugins, because you may want to ride that input to certain degrees depending on how your mix is fluctuating. We have a wet dry, so we can do parallel tape sound. We have speed stability from nice and stable, which is just going to keep the tape running on a continuous fluid loop. If you think turntables against belt driven and direct drive with the Techniques tables, it's a similar sort of thing here. And the more you push this knob over to the right, the more you're going to get that wobbly, almost belt driven type sound that you would get from a turntable. I hope that helps with your perception there. And that's going to be sort of our wow and flutter terms of tape. We've then got a high EQ trim. We can do cut or boost. This just attenuates or accentuates the higher frequencies and how that is balanced. And then we have Crosstalk. Now this emulation of Crosstalk allows you to completely manage the signal interference that would happen between 2 different circuits. You can go between off and you can mix it all the way up to 100% depending on your taste and what you like is going on with the audio. So we're going to leave it roughly around here on the 60% for the minute, and we're just going to go between type A, B and C. I think the amount here is probably enough. Let's have a listen. I've picked this particular part of the track because it goes from just a solo bass to a nice bit with a vocal in, and then we can just loop that. Gives us a good idea of how the track would sound overall. I'm going to push that amount up just a little bit, just so it's tipping in the red here to apply a bit more distortion.
Fire is now gone.
that's really nice. So I'd say C sounded the most just glued and clean clarity. B really added a lot of low end, or a lot of harmonics going on. The whole kick drum really changed. Just A-B that real quick. Now it would be possible, if you liked that effect but felt it was a little bit too much, to probably dial it back using the Crosstalk. Yeah, it's good having that Crosstalk feature there, because you can just dial that back, because it was just a little bit too much, but it was a nice effect. What we do, we'll play around with the Ipson. Now this is the tape speed of how fast this tape rotates. Generally a faster speed gives a more detailed sound, and the more you slow that down, it's using less tape to hold more information, so it's like a lesser quality. However, it's going to give us a strange sound going this slow. We're going to keep with B here because I'm quite liking how B's sounding. Seems like we've got a bit of noise here. We can turn the noise off as well. Just for the sake of this, we'll have that go. And for the sake of this, we're just going to loop a much shorter section here that goes between the bass and the vocal bit much quicker.
Say my name out loud. 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 Say my name out loud.
Yeah, that really seems to affect the high end the most. I straight away prefer that up at the maximum setting for this type of music anyway. It might work nicely on individual tracks to slow them down and adjust the profile how those are sounding. That's something you would really have to play around with. On this, it for me straight up there. As we went up, it was just the best, especially jumping from 30 down to I believe 1.25, which is a huge difference. Another thing we can play around with here, we've got the stability against the wobble, so going to give us our wow and flutter sound there. If we mix that up with going down to 1 and it's going maximum wobbly, I think that's going to really affect the sound.
Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud.
So that's much more prevalent on the faster rotations here.
Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling that effect. If we dial it back a bit, it might give a bit of a swing and a feel to the track, but honestly I would go more stability, especially for this sort of music here.
Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud.
Yeah, do you know what, with those couple of changes, moving on to C, it glues the track together really well. I mean, if we just turn it off completely and introduce those settings we've come to here, it makes a really nice change.
Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud.
it does that magical tape glue thing very well. So if you listen to the track before I introduce it, it's a little bit flabby. It's got lots of dynamics and peaks, but it's a little bit wobbly and out of place. It needs something holding it together. I did have the bus compressor on there initially. That's been turned off for this whole demonstration, but it glues all those separate elements that are a little bit poking out here and there together straight away.
Say my name out loud. Say my name out loud.
It's instantly more of a finished track. It's really nice to have 3 different tape emulations in one plugin, be able to swap between them. I think I'm going to do a nice comparison. As you see, I've got a few other tape options loaded up here. We're going to do some A/B shootouts. So guys, I will see you on the next video for that.